Good day, folks. Jonathan Milam here with a trumpet comparison. We've got two fantastic horns. You've got the great Schilke B6, one of the better-known commercial players, and a more recent rival, but it is Yamaha's 8310Z. The Z, which is also known as the shoe horn. Okay, Bobby Shoe, years ago, I believe before he became a Yamaha endorsee, he played Schilke horns. And I believe the B6, I believe I've read, was what he liked. The B6 is considered a medium bore horn. It's also, I believe, step bore, but .450 is as large as it gets. I did a vid review just here a while back on four horns, and I said, I misspoke. I said, I think that the B6 has the most complex sound. What I meant to say was the B6 of those four horns had the more compact sound, not complex, but compact. It really does pack a wallop. It's easy to fill because at its largest size through the valve block, before you get to the bell, it is a 450/100ths, where most horns are 459/1000ths, excuse me. So you've got a difference there of about 10/1000ths, close to it. Okay, I'm not going to do a long video today. I'm going to do two mouthpieces, but we are going to do three exercises. I'm going to start off with the slow song, pretty big mouthpiece. It is a Warburton 6 medium deep. Definitely not a screech piece, a medium deep piece, actually fairly deep. Ken Titmus worked on this. He hollowed the sides out, give it a little more girth, opened the throat up. Wonderful, wonderful mouthpiece. I'm going to use this with a Warburton back bore. It is the, what is this? Is the 6L Star. 6L Star. Okay, and I'm going to just do an old chorus, long tones largely, lower range, and we'll see how it works. If you needed to do something that was, long, soulful, and in the relatively lower range. Again, this is the B6. Now, when I'm playing that, and that's not at huge volume, but I feel like I'm really filling that horn. It's an easy horn to fill because it's a medium bore horn instead of your large bore. It takes a little less wind. Okay, same song, and I'm going to be playing here the Yamaha. This is the 8310Z, the shoe horn. For lead horns, I will tell you, both of these horns really have a powerful, powerful blow to them. Of course, for some, the receiver area where it starts quite small is, the lead pipe where it begins is a little tight for some. The fellow that sold me this one said that Bobby Shoe did tweak this horn. He does something to it to open it up, and this horn really does have a very, very good feel to it, as does the B6, a little more open on the Yamaha, a little more compact blow is what I'm sensing with the B6. And however, sometimes I'll play these horns in a room, and lose perspective a little bit because the sound is so spread. And then when I listen to the video, I'm really surprised. Was very surprised by a Con Vintage 1 a couple of weeks ago. It really had a much more authoritative, solid sound coming from the mics than I expected. I was very surprised with that. Okay, we're going to do the old classic, My Favorite Things. And it moves around a little bit in a little more, slightly more upward range. Then we're going to take it up and really check which of these horns will choke us out as we go into the upper range or not. Sorry, got to turn off the speaking mic. All right, when I started out, you might have noticed I did go to a different mouthpiece setup. This is still a Warburton, but it's the 6MC, very much a C cup. Love the little punchy sound, definitely a raised cup that you get. Boy, I like the sound of that, I really do. And of course, that was the Schilke B6. Okay, and I'm using just a Warburton 7 backbore with this and a 5 sleeve in both of them. Okay, we'll switch now to the 8310Z, and we'll play that same thing, My Favorite Things. Really nice horns. Now, just the way that I feel, but recently I've started gripping horns like this and amazed what you can tell. The bell on this 8310Z is definitely a little larger than the bell on the Schilke, which makes sense because the bell on the Schilke, I think they call it their B bell. It's their medium-sized bell. The bead on the Schilke is, the bead on the Yamaha is considerably larger than the bell bead on the Schilke, if you can see that there. Just, different things. They're aiming for different things when they add more to the bell, whether it's a rim or a steel rim that they're covering or a steel wire that they're covering or a flat rim that's a little bigger. They definitely know what they're doing. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try some glissandos. These horns, like I say, for some they play quite tight, and just thought we'd see how we'd do. I'm going to start with the G in the staff and go up an octave, and we'll go to high C and see how that does. And if things are good, we haven't got cut off, maybe we'll go a little higher. Again, starting with the Schilke B6. And those glissandos, recently I've been working with some of Eric Balvin's material, and Flex on the Move. I really like some great series of exercises. And like all of Eric's stuff, I've had 2 or 3 of his books and really enjoyed them. But at the end he has you doing these glissandos, and I'm surprised how it's so much easier to glissando up than it is even to do a regular scale. Gives you a little more confidence, and as you get a little more confidence, you're not tensing up so much, and it's a great range improver to my way of thinking. And that's Eric Balvin's Flex on the Move. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing now, start with G and go to high C with the 8310Z. I do notice a little more openness with the 8310. Not sure exactly what that is. Horns are so complex. Is it the fact we've got a bigger bell? Is it a fact that the 8310Z is a medium large bore throughout the valve block? Just not sure, but interested. We'll go a little higher. We'll start with the C, then we'll do the C sharp and just see how we can do with the, well, since I've got the Yamaha in my hand, we'll start with the 8310Z. All right, we went up to an F above high C, and that was with the Yamaha Z horn, and now we'll start at the high C and see how we do with the Schilke B6. Well, there we go. Going above an F above high C is, it's not going to do much for me. It would be, I'm not usually playing up in that range anyway, and it's just a glissando, I understand. This Z horn is a little more open in the upper range. Now, for everyone, what does that mean? The B6, obviously, if you're, if you want to fill a horn, but you don't have the strongest lip in the world, the B6 may be a wonderful option. It is a medium bore, and I noticed that first of all when I was doing some exercises, and I was doing, what do you call them, but you're doing like slurs in the low middle range, and I had a binge that was my lightest belled horn of 4X, and I thought nothing is as easy to play as this binge, and boy, this Schilke, I had the metronome going, and this Schilke was so much easier to do those slurs just as fast as you could. I was amazed. It's a medium bore. It's a more efficient horn. If you're really a power player, the B6 might not be the way to go for you unless you're extremely efficient and you can hold yourself in check as you get into the upper range. And why is the 8310Z a little more open? Was it the tweak that Bobby did, or is it just this horn? And would another B6 play different? Every horn is different. And if you've ever seen horns made the way they pound on those bells, it's amazing just how much effort is put into a horn making and how each horn can be different even if they're made next to each other. But for me, both very nice horns. Certainly don't mean to diss either manufacturer. Of course, we've got the great Schilke B6 here, and not a whit behind it, playing-wise, we've got the 8310Z by Yamaha. Thanks as always for watching the video. Appreciate a thumbs up if you're still with us. And also I did want to mention this Z is about 2 ounces lighter. Not a big deal, not a big deal. But when you hold it in your hand, especially if you're going to hold it for 4 hours, if you're doing a long gig, this is the lightest horn I've seen. Not even 2 pounds, 2 ounces. I weighed it today, it was 2 pounds, 1.7 ounces, I believe. Very light horn. And the B6, which is from the 70s, great player. Weighed in, I believe, at 2 pounds, 3 ounces, about 2 pounds, 3.3 ounces, if I remember correctly. So the Schilke's 1.5 ounces lighter. The Z horn is 1.5 ounces lighter. Thanks so much as always for tuning in. Again, appreciate the thumbs up, comments. We love those, especially if you've got experience with these horns. Take care of yourself and someone near you. Have a great day.